Standard Chartered PLC is a British multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in London. It operates a network of over 1,700 branches and outlets across more than 70 countries and employs around 87,000 people. It is a universal bank with operations in consumer, corporate and institutional banking, and treasury services. Despite its UK base, it does not conduct retail banking in the UK, and around 90% of its profits come from Asia, Africa and the Middle East. Standard Chartered has a primary listing on the London Stock Exchange and is a constituent of the FTSE 100 index. It had a market capitalisation of approximately £33 a billion as of December 23, 2011, the 13th largest of any company with a primary listing on the London Stock Exchange. It has secondary listings on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange of India. Its largest shareholder is the Government of Singapore-owned Temasek Holdings. Standard Chartered itself did not take any taxpayer money or used any central bank liquidity schemes. Name: the name Standard Chartered comes from the names of the two banks from which it was formed by merger in 1969, the Chartered Bank of India, Australia and China, and Standard Bank of British South Africa. History: predecessors, Chartered Bank. The Chartered Bank began when Queen Victoria granted a royal charter to Scotsman James Wilson in 1853. Chartered opened its first branches in Mumbai, Kolkata and Shanghai in 1858, followed by Hong Kong and Singapore in 1859. The bank started issuing banknotes of the Hong Kong dollar in 1862. Standard Bank. The Standard Bank was a British bank founded in the Cape Province of South Africa in 1862 by Scott, John Patterson. Having established a considerable number of branches, Standard was prominent in financing the development of the diamond fields of Kimberley from 1867 and later extended its network further north to the new town of Johannesburg when gold was discovered there in 1885. Half the output of the second-largest gold field in the world passed through the Standard Bank on its way to London. Standard expanded widely in Africa over the years, but from 1883 to 1962 was formerly known as the Standard Bank of South Africa. In 1962 the bank changed its name to Standard Bank Limited, and the South African operations were formed into a separate subsidiary which took the parent bank's previous name, Standard Bank of South Africa Limited, 1969 to 2000. Both banks acquired other smaller banks along the way and spread their networks further. In 1969, the banks decided to merge, and to counterbalance their existing network by expanding in Europe and the United States, while continuing their expansion in their traditional markets in Asia and Africa. In 1986, Lloyds made a hostile takeover bid for the group. The bid was defeated. However, it spurred Standard Chartered into a period of change, including a series of divestments notably in the US and South Africa. In 1987, Standard Chartered sold its remaining interests in the South African bank, and since then the Standard Bank Group has been a separate entity. In 1992, scandal broke when banking regulators charged several employees of Standard Chartered in Mumbai with illegally diverting depositors' funds to speculate in the stock market. Fines by Indian regulators and provisions for losses cost the bank almost a 350 currency a million, at that time fully a third of its capital. In 1994, London's Sunday Times reported that an executive in the bank's metals division had bribed officials in Malaysia and the Philippines in order to win business. The bank, in a statement on July 18, 1994, acknowledged that there were discrepancies in expense claims, that included gifts to individuals in certain countries to facilitate business, a practice contrary to bank rules. In 1997, Standard Chartered sold its metals division to Toronto-based Scotiabank for $26 a million. In 1994, the Hong Kong Securities and Futures Commission found Standard Chartered's Asian Investment Bank to have illegally helped to artificially support the price of new shares they had underwritten for 6 companies from July 1991 to March 1993. The bank admitted the offence, apologized and reorganized its brokerage units. The commission banned the bank from underwriting IPOs in Hong Kong for 9 months. Standard Chartered's Asian investment banking operations never recovered, and in 2000 the bank closed them down. In the late 1986, a business consortium purchased a 35% stake to fend off Lloyds. A member of this consortium was Malaysian-born property tycoon Khoo Teck Puat, who purchased 5% of the bank's shares, which he later increased to 13.4%. 2000 to 2010. In 2000, Standard Chartered acquired Grindlays Bank from ANZ, increasing its presence in private banking and further expanding its operations in India and Pakistan. Standard Chartered retained Grindlays private banking operations in London and Luxembourg, as well as the subsidiary in Jersey, all of which were integrated into its own private bank. This now serves high-net-worth customers in Hong Kong, Dubai, and Johannesburg under the name Standard Chartered Grindlays Offshore Financial Services. In India, Standard Chartered integrated most of Grindlays' operations, becoming the largest foreign bank in that country. Ethics issues and financial losses triggered turmoil. The bank went through 3 CEOs in 3 years. Malcolm Williamson was replaced in 1998 by Rana Talwar, who was unseated by Mervyn Davis in 2001. By the time Davis took over, his predecessors had systematically sold off the bank unregistered trademark S holdings in continental Europe and the Americas. Former CEO Talwar has claimed Standard Chartered's troubles over the years as due to its failure to hire local talent. The Indian-born Citigroup Incorporated veteran became the bank's first non-British CEO when he was appointed in 1998. Leading to the incorporation of Standard Chartered on July 1, 2004, the Legislative Council of Hong Kong amended Legal Tender Notes Issue Ordinance. The amendment replaced Standard Chartered Bank with its newly incorporated subsidiary, Standard Chartered Bank Limited, as one of the note-issuing banks in Hong Kong. The same year, Standard Chartered Bank and Astra International took over Permata Bank, and in 2006, both shareholders increased their joint ownership to 89.01%. With 276 branches and 549 ATMs in 55 cities throughout Indonesia, Permata Bank has the second-largest branch network in Standard Chartered organization. On April 15, 2005, the bank acquired Korea First Bank, beating HSBC in the bid. The bank has since rebranded the branches as SC First Bank. Standard Chartered completed the integration of its Bangkok branch and Standard Chartered Nakhon Bank in October, renaming the new entity Standard Chartered Bank. Standard Chartered also formed strategic alliances with Fleming family and partners to expand private wealth management in Asia and the Middle East, and acquired stakes in ACB Vietnam, Travelex, American Express Bank and Bohai Bank. The largest shareholder, Khoo Teck Puat, died in 2004. And 2 years later, on March 28, 2006, the Singapore state-owned private investment firm, Temasek, became the bank's largest shareholder, when it bought the 11.55% stake held by the estate of billionaire Khoo Teck Puat. On August 9, 2006, Standard Chartered announced it had acquired an 81% shareholding in the Union Bank of Pakistan in a deal ultimately worth $511 a million. This deal represented the first acquisition by a foreign firm of a Pakistani bank, and the merged bank, Standard Chartered Bank, is now Pakistan's sixth-largest bank. On October 22, 2006, Standard Chartered announced that it had received tenders for more than 51% of the issued share capital of Hsinchu International Bank, established in 1948 in Hsinchu, Taiwan. Standard Chartered, which had first entered Taiwan in 1985, acquired majority ownership of the bank. Prior to the merger, Hsinchu was Taiwan's seventh-largest private sector bank by loans and deposits as of June 30, 2006, but had suffered extensive losses on defaulted credit card debt. Standard Chartered merged its existing 3 branches with Hsinchu's 83 branches, and delisted Hsinchu International Bank, changing the bank's name to Standard Chartered Bank Limited. Standard Chartered is the largest foreign bank in Taiwan in terms of branch network. In 2007, Standard Chartered opened its private banking global headquarters in Singapore. On August 23, 2007, Standard Chartered entered into an agreement to buy a 49% share of an Indian brokerage firm for $36 a million in cash from Securities Trading Corporation of India Limited, with the option to raise its stake to 75% in 2008, and, if both partners were in agreement, to 100% by 2010. UTI Securities offers brokering, wealth management and investment banking services across 60 Indian cities. On February 29, 2008, Standard Chartered PLC announced it had received all the required approvals leading to the completion of its acquisition of American Express Bank Limited from the American Express Company. The total cash consideration for the acquisition is $823 a million. On November 13, 2008, Standard Chartered Bank Limited entered into an agreement to acquire 100% of Cazenove Asia Limited, a leading Asian equity capital markets, corporate finance and institutional brokerage business, from J.P. Morgan Cazenove. On November 27, 2009, Dow Jones Financial News reported that Dubai will restructure its largest corporate entity. Among international banks, Standard Chartered has one of the largest loan portfolios in the Dubai market and the UAE as a whole, estimated to be $7.77 billion in total. This amounts to 4.2% of Standard Chartered's total loans outstanding. Other impacted banks included HSBC, Barclays, and RBS. The bank stated that any impairment arising from this exposure would not be material. 2010 to present. Standard Chartered announced an agreement on April 27, 2010 to buy the African custody business from Barclays plc. On May 13, 2010, Standard Chartered plc launched the first ever Indian depository receipt a Euro offer. On June 17, 2010, Standard Chartered Bank and the Agricultural Bank of China strengthened their strategic partnership. Hong Kong has been identified as a potential pilot region for the two banks' cooperation journey. The two banks' declared aim is to cooperate to provide their corporate and individual customers with world-class financial markets products. A joint cooperation committee will be formed by both banks to drive the strategic direction of the partnership. The committee was to be co-chaired by Peter Sands, CEO of Standard Chartered, and Zhang Yun, president of ABC. In December 2010, Standard Chartered was recognized as the Global Bank of the Year in the Bankers Bank of the Year 2010 awards. Iran money laundering settlement. On August 6, 2012, the New York Department of Financial Services, led by Benjamin Lawsky, accused Standard Chartered of hiding $250 billion in transactions involving Iran, labeling it a rogue institution. The bank was ordered to appear and defend its actions, or risk losing its license to operate in the state of New York. The DFS said it had documents showing a cover-up of transactions allegedly used to fund terrorist groups in the Middle East. The next day, the share price bounced back almost 7%, after certain British politicians attributed the bulk of the accusations against the bank to an anti-British bias, saying that U.S. authorities try to undermine London's banking sector and blamed U.S. economic problems partly on the UK. On August 14, Lawsky announced that the DFS and Standard Chartered reached a settlement that allows the bank to keep its license to operate in New York. According to the terms of the settlement, the bank agreed to pay a $340 million fine. The bank agreed to install a monitor to oversee the bank's money laundering controls for at least 2 years, and appoint permanent officials who will audit the bank's internal procedures to prevent offshore money laundering. The monitor will report directly to the DFS. Lawsky's statement said the parties have agreed that the conduct at issue involved transactions of at least $250 billion. The bank issued a statement confirming that a settlement with the DFS had been reached and that a formal agreement containing the detailed terms of the settlement is expected to be concluded shortly. Other U.S. agencies including the Federal Reserve, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Treasury Department, and the Justice Department had also begun investigations into the laundering allegations and were reportedly taken off guard by the speed of the settlement. The Treasury stated that its own investigation of Standard Chartered will continue. Several financial analysts predicted that, due to its strong financial position, The bank would be able to easily cover the $340 million fine without having to raise extra capital. Corporate affairs. Standard Chartered has over 86,000 employees globally and has operations in 70 markets. The bank is divided into two divisions, the Consumer Bank and the Wholesale Bank. Consumer Bank. The Consumer Bank is retail-focused, and focuses on individuals, small business and high-net-worth clients in the private bank. For retail customers, the unit manages savings, allows customers to make transactions, provides wealth management services, and provides mortgages and auto finance. For SMEs, the Consumer Bank manages cash, collections, and payments as well as offering loans. Wholesale Bank. The Wholesale Bank's clients comprise of global corporates, financial institutions and commodity traders and agribusinesses. Transaction banking helps clients manage their treasury function through cash management, trade finance and custody services. Financial markets allow clients to raise capital, manage their risks and invest. The corporate finance function offers advisory for mergers and acquisitions and other restructuring activities. Finally, Principal Finance makes equity investments to encourage the growth of businesses. Standard Chartered Breeze. Standard Chartered Breeze is a mobile banking application for the iPhone and iPad that can also be used on the computer. It is largely similar to the online banking services offered by other banks, with the exception of its function to issue electronic bank checks. Launched in summer 2010 and aggressively marketed, the reviews have been generally positive. In addition, it has attracted an uncommon amount of attention due to many innovative marketing strategies it used to promote its product, mostly focusing on social media. Standard Chartered Breeze organized a bloggers meet for bloggers to preview Breeze, and its Twitter campaign to give away a free iPad was extremely successful. Senior Management. Peter Sands is the current chief executive of Standard Chartered. His total annual reward package is $4,142,000, consisting of $1,516,000 salary and a bonus of up to $2,626,000. Sponsorship. In September 2009 it was announced that Standard Chartered had agreed to become the main sponsor of Liverpool Football Club for the period between July 2010 and the end of the 2013 Euro 14 football season. The deal was reported to have a total value of £80 million. Due to the success of the partnership, an extension to the end of the 2015-16 season was agreed in 2013. Social responsibility. Standard Chartered, along with the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness, manages a charity called Seeing is Believing. The charity aims to eliminate preventable blindness in developing countries. Standard Chartered matches every dollar raised by the organization. Notable employees. John Major, who served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1990 to 1997, was employed by Standard Chartered from May 1965, when he joined them as an executive. He was transferred to Nigeria in 1967, and worked for the bank at home and abroad until he was elected to Parliament at the 1979 general election as Conservative Party MP for Huntingdon. Membership. As a member of the Global Banking Alliance for Women, Standard Chartered works with a consortium of banks to deliver financial services to women. See also: List of banks in the United Kingdom, banknotes of the Hong Kong dollar, references. External links, official website.